You want to mise en place all your ingredients, so have everything all ready to go. Now I've got some water here. I always use filtered water. So I'm going to pop that straight into my bowl here. And the temperature of the water, I always like to use room temperature water. So into our water, we're going to go in with our yeast, and you can use fresh or dry. I'm using fresh today. I just find that it activates a little bit faster, but either is fine. Give it a bit of a whisk. Then we're going to go in with our dry ingredients. So we have some bread flour, also known as strong flour. So this has a higher concentration of the protein, gluten. And we also have some semolina, which is this coarser wheat granule. And we're going to pop that in. That's going to give you a nice crispy crust. So if you can't get semolina or you don't want to use it, you can just use all of the bread flour. Of course, some salt. Very important salt in bread. It's going to strengthen the gluten and also extend the life and give it nice flavor as well. So we're going to get this onto our mixer now, and we're going to mix on speed 1 or the lowest speed for about 4 minutes or until everything comes together. Or if you're doing this by hand, you can just mix everything in a bowl until it starts coming together. Okay, so we've been mixing our dough for a few minutes and everything has started to come together, as you can see. Started to get the dough, but we haven't got the gluten development yet. So what I'm going to do is actually rest my dough for 15 minutes, and this is going to do a lot of the work for us. So all you want to do is just cover it up with a tea towel, set that aside for 15 minutes, and this is almost like an auto-lease. So what's going to happen during this time is all the moisture is going to have a chance to be absorbed, and that gluten, the protein, is going to start to strengthen in the dough. So just rest that for 15 minutes before we start kneading again. So it's been 15 minutes, so our dough has had a little bit of a chance to rest. We're going to get the dough hook back onto our mixer. And we are now going to increase the speed. Instead of speed 1, we're going to do speed 2 or 3. And we're going to knead this until we can do a window test. This will take anywhere from 4 to about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I've had my dough kneading for about 6 minutes, and I'm going to just check to see whether we're at the right gluten development. So the best way to do that is you can just take a little piece of dough. Now you want to make sure that you wet your hands. I've just got a little spray bottle with some water here. You can just dip them in some water. Just get your hands nice and wet. We're going to just press that dough and see whether we can perform a window test. So the window test is letting us know whether we've developed our gluten, and you should be able to pull it out and create a nice skin and be able to see some light through it. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's not breaking right away, so I know that I'm at the right gluten development. I'm going to transfer this dough now into a container. Just make sure the container is at least 2 to 3 times the size of your dough. And we're just going to rub that oil around. Just want to make sure that it'll be easy to get it out. And I always like to kind of pop it into a ball. So just press for a nice smooth surface and then just tuck that dough underneath itself. There we go. All right, we're going to pop the lid on and I'm going to bench proof this for 45 minutes. And then after our quick little bench proof, this dough is going to go into the refrigerator overnight. So it's the next day from making our thin crust pizza dough. We've had our dough cold proofing in the fridge overnight to develop all those amazing flavors. Now we need to start scaling our dough into balls, and I like to do that just straight out of the fridge. So there's a couple of sizes that you can do. So when I'm making a thin crust pizza, I tend to like to do like a smaller quantity, so like 200 grams, or if you're making your classic pizzas, I like doing 220. So we're going to start scaling now. all of your pizza dough scaled into the size that you would like, we're going to start balling these. So you want to find a nice smooth surface and take your thumb and forefinger and pop those together. So you create a window. You're going to put that smooth surface against the window. Using your 2 fingers on your other hand, we're going to start pushing this dough through the window, like so. And then when you get down to the end, you have all these little scrubby bits at the bottom. We're just going to pinch those together onto your bench, your work surface, and we're going to give that a roll just with your hands, kind of like, you know, like a cage over them, over it, until you can feel the ball right here on this part of your hand. We're going to roll it around until we get like a nice tight surface. Okay, like that, and then grab yourself a tray. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of flour down the bottom and pop your dough ball on there. I'm just going to cover it with this for the moment so it doesn't dry out, or you can put a tea towel and continue with the rest. We're just going to put a tiny bit of flour on each one, and then you can cover that with some cling wrap and then set that aside for about 3 hours for everything to come to room temperature and for that last bit of proofing to happen. Or if you do have a proofer, just put this into your proofer. Not too hot, you don't really want to go above 30 degrees Celsius. So yeah, just leave that for about 2 to 3 hours until everything kind of relaxes and they become a bit more puffy. And then you're ready to start shaping.